to Living the Next Chapter. My name is Dave Campbell. So happy that you came by to check out today's book. It's a book that I read recently and I really enjoyed it. Wanted to share it with you and give you the opportunity to find out about a book you may never have heard of. This is the podcast for you because you're going to hear today about a book that I found to be amazing. This is Living the Next Chapter, where we connect authors and audiences and share the stories behind the books and give you the opportunity for you to expand your library. This is Living the Next Chapter. Thank you for joining us. Here we go. Thanks for joining us on Living the Next Chapter. This is Dave. There's a book that I've been reading, and I wanted to share with you because it meant a lot to me and my small business. It's called Talk Triggers, and it's by Baer and Daniel Lemin. Now, this book is all about what happens when you're not in the room and what people say about you and your business. Now, I am a small business owner. My wife and I have been in business since 2014, and we've been building a business together, trying to reach an audience and grow a community, one customer at a time. We've tried many different ways of advertising: social media, radio, television. There's been some things we've spent a lot of money on and got zero return on. There's been things that we've spent no money on at all and got immediate results. So there's a lot of testing and trial. I've actually heard people say that word of mouth advertising is dead. And for a moment, it kind of threw me back because I thought that would be one of the most effective ways of reaching an audience. And after reading this book, Talk Triggers, I've actually been reignited to pour more effort into what my customers think of our business, again, when we're not in the room. Now, think about this for a second. We all have been going through a global pandemic and spending a lot more time binge watching television shows. Now, how do you find out about the next thing to watch? The movie, the series? How do you find out about the next thing? A lot of us learn about the next show that we might fall in love with from friends and family who've already watched an episode or a series, and they come by and say, you know what, I think you're going to like this show. You should probably check out blah, blah, blah on Netflix or Amazon or Apple. And they introduce us and open the door for us to check out something we might not normally go find or have ever found on our own. When somebody we like, know, and trust comes to us and tells us that we might appreciate something that they like, there's a greater chance that we might buy into it because we buy into them. We know them, we like them, and we trust them. And because of that, we're more apt to take that bold step and go with a suggestion that they make to us. And for the most part, because they know us, usually their suggestions actually turn out great and we get hooked just like they did. And then we can share the stories back and forth and the circle continues and we do the same for other people. So Talk Triggers is all about how you can have an impact on your audience, your customers, the people that you cross paths with, that you want them to have a great experience and you want them to leave your business, your side hustle, your whatever you do. You want them to walk away with a great experience. Maybe you're a musician and you want them to leave a great review on the last concert that you did, the last show, maybe the song that you posted on Spotify, and you want to get those reviews. And you're looking for a great way to do that. Now, you can hire somebody to go get you likes and follows and shares, and those aren't always real people, though, that are actually bought into what you do and bought into you as a maker, as a creator, as a business. So how can you get real reviews, feedback, and real buy-in from a community? It all comes back to Talk Triggers. And that's why I like this book so much. There is over 30 detailed case studies in this book of businesses that have done something that have caught their customers' attention and something that just caught people by surprise and they wanted to tell others. There are stories from like a burger shop. There are stories about the Cheesecake Factory. There's stories about Penn and Teller and what happens after one of their shows in Las Vegas. There are many different examples of businesses that have done something great, captured the attention of an audience, and turned skeptics into fans, and then also seen those fans become super fans, doubling and tripling and quadrupling their customer base by people leaving with a good experience and then telling others. So that's what this book is for me as I went through this, and I learned so many great things. And what I love too about this book is there's resources after the fact. And you can go to the website for Talk Triggers and get more information, more great handouts and guides and study things that go along with the book to kind of take you to the next level and help you to apply what you're listening to and what you're learning as you read Talk Triggers. So I wanted to share with you a short clip from the Audible site, which gives you a little taste of what the book sounds like as read by the authors. Now, they kind of talk a little bit in this clip about what's in the book. You'll actually hear part of the book here. And then we're going to jump back after this clip and talk a little bit more about Talk Triggers by Baer and Daniel Lemin. So here's a little clip from the book. Hope you like it, and we'll be back in a moment.
You might be wondering, how often do customers really notice talk triggers? And more important, how much do these differentiators actually get discussed? After all, an operational strength that doesn't encourage conversation may grow repeat business from the original customer, but it does not create new customers at little to no cost. This pass-along effect, when customers tell your story almost involuntarily, turning themselves into volunteer marketers, is what makes word of mouth so delightfully impactful for companies that possess a talk trigger. To better understand the impact of the Cheesecake Factory's talk triggers, we partnered with Audience Audit, a respected provider of consumer panel research, to identify hundreds of adults who had dined at a Cheesecake Factory location within the prior 30 days. Respondents were asked, have you ever recommended the Cheesecake Factory to someone who was not specifically asking for recommendations just because you are particularly pleased with your experience? Among them, 66% had. Perhaps even more impressive is our research finding that more than 9 in 10 customers discuss the Cheesecake Factory when directly asked for restaurant recommendations. Respondents were asked, have you ever suggested the Cheesecake Factory to someone who was specifically asking for a restaurant recommendation? Nearly every patron of the Cheesecake Factory becomes an advocate when the opportunity arises.
Welcome back. That was a little clip from the book, from the Audible site. You can hear more on there as well if you go to Audible and type in Talk Triggers. You'll find a little bit more about the book. And I put links down below too if that helps you to find the book faster. And check them out. And you can hear the book and read the book. Grab a copy of it. It's definitely one I would leave on my shelf for sure. Talk Triggers. It's a great book. And what I like is that consumers are wired to discuss what is different and ignore what is average. No one really will go around at a party, at a social get-together and tell you of a great average experience they've had with a store, with a restaurant, with a movie, with a television show, with a song. Average is not usually discussed a lot in social circles. It's when something stands out that's unique, different, captures your attention. That's what you want to share about. Those are the things that are talk triggers, and those are the things that we need to capitalize on if you have a business or if you're a creator. Combining compelling stories, inspirational examples, and practical how-tos, Talk Triggers is the first indispensable book about word-of-mouth marketing. It's a book that will create conversation about the power of conversation. I love the book, and I hope you take time to take a look at it. And I'd love to hear your comments about this book as well. So you can always comment and leave us a message, and also go to our website, livingthenextchapter.com. We'd love for you to drop by there and see what's happening and see what's coming up next. As our podcast grows, as our guest list grows, we're always looking to expand and grow this podcast. And we love the fact that you took the time to come by and listen today. Thank you so much. I'd love to get your feedback. I'd love to get a rating on Spotify and Apple if you don't mind. That would definitely help us grow our podcast, and we appreciate you listening today. Thanks, and look forward to catching the next one on Living the Next Chapter. Thanks, and have a great day. Hi guys, this is Dave from Living the Next Chapter, a podcast designed to connect authors and audiences. We're always on the lookout for our next interview. If you're an author, a publisher, and you have a book, whether you're just starting, whether you're halfway through writing, or it's all done and you want to tell the world, that's why we're here at Living the Next Chapter. Get in touch with us through livingthenextchapter.com, contact us, and let's set up some time together to discuss your book, to discuss your project, and how we can get you on the show. My name is Dave, and I would love to speak to you. So go to livingthenextchapter.com, and let's get over there together and discuss all the great things that you're up to as an author, as a publisher, and let's grow your audience together. Join us on livingthenextchapter.com for great authors and an audience that's eager to hear about what you're up to as an author and a publisher. Contact us today, and let's get your book out in front of others. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next one.
Mindshift Power Podcast, the podcast for teenagers and those who work with them. There's a huge problem in America today. There's a very large disconnect between teenagers and the adults who work with them. I'm looking to bridge that gap with real, raw, honest conversation, not held back by the chains of political correctness. You cannot solve a problem you do not understand. Want to understand teenagers today? Listen to this podcast. This podcast is for teens in the U.S. and Canada. To learn more, go to fatimabay.com/podcast or just look for Mindshift Power Podcast on any listening platform. I look forward to you being a faithful listener.